What's up, people? I'm back. Fred White with Tales from the Pen. For those who are new to the channel, please go down and hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell next to the subscribe and click the word all. This way here, every time I do a video, every time I upload something, every time I go live, you will know about it. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Fred. I'm from Queens and I did almost 16 years in the penitentiary. I got locked up 14, 15, 16, and by 17 I was in prison for felony murder. So I know a little bit of what I speak upon. Today's topic we're going to talk a little bit about, because I see it's big on these YouTube streets, we're going to talk about snitching and paperwork, okay? Now, when you call somebody a snitch in the penitentiary, that's a big deal. Okay, when you call somebody a snitch in the penitentiary, you have to have proof behind what you're saying, right? More so in the feds. See, in the state and the feds is kind of two different worlds. Okay, in the feds, when you come in, somebody's already gonna approach you right away, whatever, usually what your race is. Okay. So whatever your race is, someone from that race is going to come up to you and they're going to say, you know, how you doing, who are you, where you from? We have to see your paperwork to make sure that you're okay. That's how the feds work. The feds don't play. So when the car pull up in the feds, you got to have your paperwork with you. You got to, you know, people have to actually see what your case is. You know, did you testify? Was you on the stand? Things like that. Before you can get into a car. That's how they do in the feds. You know, they call it getting into a car. You know what I mean? You know, I got a boy in the feds right now. He riding with the New York car. Like, there's different cars you can go with. You know what I mean? But he had to show paperwork. That's how the feds work. And if your paperwork is wrong, if your paperwork don't sound right, if your paperwork is doctored, if your paperwork don't have that stamp on it, you could be in some trouble. You could definitely be in some trouble. Your life is in danger, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? If you have some bad paperwork, you're going to get hit. You're going to get stabbed. You know, there's a possibility you could die. Or you could just check in. Just, you know, tell the police, listen, these guys here, they're going to kill me. You know, I can't be in population. That's how the feds. In the state, it works a little bit different. You know what I mean? But you still have to have proof. You still have to have some type of backup to what you're saying about this next person. Okay? I told you guys about an incident, you know, when I was in Clinton. I came through Clinton, you know, and I'm going to refresh some people in case some people are just new to the channel. I came through Clinton, and I seen this guy, Jose Santiago. Yeah, I see certain people, I will change names and do all that. You already know. His name was Jose Santiago. He was from Brooklyn, Coney Island. And he was taking kids on a roof. Mostly boys, little boys. And he was raping them. And he was telling them, you know, if you tell anybody, I'm going to kill you and your family. And these kids were scared until finally somebody told. He ended up going to prison. We were in the day room one day. He had went to court. And we seen him pop up on the news. Before he came back from court, he had went to court that day. So we in the day room watching, and he came up on the news that he was actually calling his victims from the phone right there. Like, I could see the phone he was using. And what he was doing is he was threatening them from jail. So they gave him a new charge because on that day he wasn't supposed to go to court. He was like, I don't got court today. They say, yes, you do. They took him out, whatever. They rearranged him. They gave him a new charge. From calling and harassing people, tampering with witness type thing, okay? So when he came back that night, you know, straight up he got it. You know, he got stomped, he got beat, he got stabbed, he got hit with loud, he got a blanket party, like, he, you know, the blanket party, dude threw blanket over him and did some things to him. You know, you guys already know, I don't, you know, certain things I do feel bad about in life. That ain't one of them. So, fast forward. 9-10 years later, I go to Clinton. And who do I see? See, back then when I knew him, he had long hair and stuff. When I seen him there, he had a bald head. He looked a little different, and I wasn't sure. I'm like, that looks like dude from 10 years ago. Like, I didn't forget. He saw me, I saw him. I wasn't really sure, though. But in my mind, I'm saying, I know what I did to him. So I found out that he was what was known as a rat hunter. Now, anybody that's been to the state knows that the rat hunters are some serious people. You know what I mean? Rat hunters get busy. Rat hunters are just what it sounds like. Hunting rats. They don't like snitches. They don't like any of that type thing. You know what I mean? So I knew that these people did not know what this man was in prison for. This is what I'm saying. The state is a little different. No one pulled up on him and said, hey, let me see your paperwork. They only do that in the feds. The state is different. So, I knew somebody, and I told him, I knew somebody that was down with him, and I said, that's my man. I said, yo, listen, man, that dude right there is no good. What you mean, Fred? I broke down the story. He's a baby rapist, man. And the dude was cool with it. The dude was like his best man or something. He was like the best man. They was cool. But I also knew that I had to protect myself too, because I know what I did to him. So I don't know what he was going to go back and tell his people, like, yo, that kid there did this, and now I got to look over my shoulder, and that wasn't going to happen. So I struck first. Right? Now, I could have did something to him myself, right? And put myself in jeopardy, and maybe killed him, maybe caught another attempt murder charge. But at that time, I only had a couple years left, and I figured I would do this strategically. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to play chess while others is playing checkers. That's life. So my man was like, you sure? I said, positive. We went to the phones. I called home. I said, yo, type in, because that's when the New York State inmate lookup, right? That's when that became prevalent. That's when people could actually look up other individuals and check their crimes. You know what I'm saying? So I knew his government. I knew who he was. I put the dude on the phone with my people, and they told him, yeah, his charges were sodomy, rape. Like, he had all these disgusting charges. Dude was like, yo, man, thank you, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Me and the dude was cool from another jail, so he knew it was all love. He knew if I told him that, I ain't making this up. I don't do that, because you can get killed for that. You can get killed for making stuff up on people, man. Which I see is real prevalent in these YouTube streets. I see a lot of these YouTube bloggers putting people's names and things and calling them rats and all of that when they don't even know. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes do shit for views, man. A lot of people do shit, to spark controversy. And they'll put certain people's names in the titles. Where I'm from, you can't really do that unless you got some proof. That's why I don't do that, and I'm not mentioning no names. I'm not saying who people are talking about. I'm sure some people know what's going on in these YouTube streets. I don't do that. Because you got to have some support with what you're saying. You can't just throw nothing out there, because people get killed for rumors. People get killed for making stuff up. So they went and did what they did with him. They hit him up, stabbed him up, got him up out the jail, thanked me for it. Checkmate. Simple. But my point is to you is that when you say something about somebody, when you're talking about somebody, you got to have some proof with it. You have to, right? Like I told you guys about the informant on my case. I have every document, everything. I have the whole trial transcripts. I still have them right now to this day under my bed. They there. Anybody ever says, well, Fred, he said I'll bust them out. Bang, 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 here. So I can never be questioned. Why? Because I got backup. I got proof. You can't go making stuff up. You will die for making stuff up. That's how it works. If I couldn't prove that he was a baby rapist, I would have had to watch my back. No matter how many people I had with me, it don't work like that. You can't make stuff up. which I see is going on a lot in these YouTube streets, man. I just try not to get involved in all of that. But, some people were asking me about the snitching thing because of what's going on with certain individuals and rappers and things. And unless I see it, I don't know. And, I have no opinion on it. I don't know. That's how it works. That's how it goes. Because again, you could die. You can get your family hurt. You can, a lot of things can happen when you call somebody a snitch, man. You got to be careful of what you're saying. I had a few people ask me about that. Then I had somebody write me, and they said that, their little brother went to jail. And that he was kind of short, he was a small guy. What was going to happen to him? Who knows? It's not about your size, man. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you carry yourself as a person. Size has zero to do with it. That's how it goes. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to be real with you. A lot of the dudes in my era, late 80s, 90s, who was repping, who were cutting people, who were stabbing people, who were troublemakers, causing massive trouble, were the little guys. Straight up. I know about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes under 5'5" that were terrorists in the penitentiary. Terrorists, troublemakers. A lot of them had, because a lot of them had people behind them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes is from Brooklyn, and they had 1,000 Brooklyn dudes behind them. So they would start trouble and then stop. It was borough wars. Back in my days, before the gangs and all of that became prevalent, it was more about boroughs. That's who you hung with. You hung out with your borough. That's a fact. In the 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? I mean, people stuck together, the Guards, the Muslims. You had a couple Latin kings. It wasn't really that prevalent yet. But that was, that was it. You had the Jamaicans. A lot of people don't talk about the Caribbean people. The Caribbean, the West Indies and all that. The Jamaican dudes? Oh, they were serious. They were serious. There was a lot of them. Shout out to my man Pablo. Shout out to my man GT Bourne. Shout out to my man Sasa. Let me tell you about Sasa. So Sasa was a live dude, man. Jamaican dude. And that's the thing, you don't never hear, if you listen to a lot of these YouTubers, you never hear them, man. You hear wars among certain people. You never hear them talking about wars with Jamaicans or anything you don't hear that. Because them dudes stick together, and them dudes is like some serious dudes, real shit. You never really hear dudes talk about them, right? Oh yeah. Let me tell you what Sasa. So Sasa was in Kaisagi with me, good dude, cool motherfucker. He was head of them dude. You know what I mean? Sasa, but they was calling him General, you know what I mean? And he went to Green, which was next door, was a medium secure prison. And Sasa, there was another dude there, Jamaican dude, called Sasa. There was another one. And Sasa told him in the library, yo man, you can't use that name anymore. Dude, I know Sasa. When I told him, yo, you can't use that name. And the kid was like, what? That's my name? Cut him. Tore his face up. Just because he had the same name. True story on my kids. Anybody that know, you know what I mean? Jamaica Sasa, shout him out. Real shit. Just because he had his name. This is how it works. You know what I mean? People just... jail is different, man. Jail is different. But like I said, it was always the little guys. You know what's funny? I remember in the Ford building back in the days, you know what I mean? I used to work in the visit room. You know what I mean? When, dudes get visits, I'll be there giving the buckets out. And the buckets were, there's a bucket and you put your property in, and when you go on the visit, you wear a jumpsuit, so you can't wear the clothes that you have. Now everyone has jumpsuits, I think, all throughout the island, and so you can't, it's different. But back in my day, you could wear your own jewelry, watch, your clothes from the street. So when you went to the visitor room and you got a visit, you had to put your stuff in a bucket. And the bucket was held there, you know, and you had to put your jumpsuit. And when you came out, you give the number, you know, let me get my bucket, 23, whatever, and you give the person a bucket. So I was in the visitor room, but there was another dude worked in the visitor room. And I don't want anybody to you know, to get upset with me, but I'm just saying, this was his name. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. His name was Midget Bob. That's what they called him. Midget Bob. You know what I mean? And he was 4'5" or whatever, and he, you know, that's the way it was. But Bob, at that time, there was dudes, a lot of dudes who had jewelry in the building, but I believe that Bob had like the most that I've seen at that time. Bob had mad change, rings, bracelets, gold. Bob was running around robbing people, you know, with his Brooklyn crew, because again, they had a whole, you know what I mean? They had a whole mean crew behind them, you know what I mean? Big Smith, shout out. You know what I mean? Marcy, you know, they had a lot of big, you know, dudes behind them. And this is, you know, this is what they do. You know, the little dudes, they start problems. But yeah, he was, you know, he was small in stature, but he, you know, he was a little hellraiser when we were adolescents. True story. You want to know the crazy part about that? Is that he ended up going on, he went on to snitch on people. Now, you're afraid, you can't say that, right? But if you Google, I'm going to get the exact article right now. This is crazy. If you Google, drug dealing dwarf rats out gang lord. That's Bob. I couldn't believe it when I see it. Oh shit, it says, again, drug dealing dwarf rats out gang lord. Google it. I just gave you the title. Google that, write what I just said, and the article's gonna come up. You know, he went home, got involved in a bunch of things, and he was on the stand snitching on a bunch of people. Now again, how could you say that? You know, how could you say that, Fred? You don't know. You don't got paperwork. Right, nah, I'm just saying. Hold on a second here. About to show you guys something. New York Post. See what that says? Drug dealing dwarf rats out drug lord. I ain't making it up. It's right there. He was on the stand. It talks about how he was on the stand pointing people out. He did it. He did it. He did it. Crazy part is, son is like an actor now or some shit. He was like in Precious. He was in what was that other thing? Are We There Yet? The TV show though. Like he was been done a bunch of things. True story. But you know, my point is, you know, to that person that wrote me in the DM, it has nothing to do with your size, man. It has zero to do with your size. You know, it's who you are as a person. I knew another dude, we used to call him Shorty Crutch. He was small too, and his legs, like, he had some type of disease where his legs never formed, so his legs were just there, like dangling. You know, like he had skinny, leany legs. But for like to be 16, 17, he was diesel because his whole life he was on crutches. And he was fast as fuck on them crutches. I'm telling you, like, I used to be fast, real fast. And we would race down the corridor. Be like, all right, let's race. And he'd be right there with me with the crutches. Woof, 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 running with his crutches, not with beast. You know, shout out to Shorty Crutch, man. You know, so again, to that person, I wouldn't worry about, your brother. It's all in how he carries himself as a person. As long as he's a stand-up person, as long as he stays 10 toes down, as long as he's official, he'll get by. That's how it goes. It has nothing to do with your size. You know, I just gave you a couple examples, and there's a lot more examples. I mean, like I said, a lot of the terrorists that I remember from Rikers Island were all like under 5'5", and they were problems. They were definitely problems. So yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here, vibe a little bit with you guys. I see them coming up on the 20-minute mark, and I try to keep them like that because people's attention spans are short. No one wants to see 45-minute videos and hour videos. That's from the data that I've been getting. I know I haven't been on here a lot. I just got a lot of things going on. I got, I'm trying to do so much things. I'm trying to actually start a little organization, a 501c3 organization, youth organization. Yeah, I'm trying to take this to a whole different level. I'm going to start having my Tales from the Pen in series form, where every week I'm going to drop one at a certain time so everyone has something to look forward to. Yeah. I'm also, I can tell you guys, I'm also looking to move. We're also looking to get a house built. I'm looking to move out the state, get a little house, a little pool. So I've just had a lot of things going on, so, I apologize to the people who are used to me making regular videos. I've just been very, very busy, and, especially with babies and things like that. But, I just came on here to talk a little bit about, because I see a lot of things that's been going on in, in these YouTube streets about dudes snitching and, dudes coming out 20 years later to talking about dudes with snitching and stuff like that. So I just wanted to, to address certain situations that, unless you have proof, you can't do that. You can't do it. You can't do it. I've seen situations. I've been in situations. I've seen it. I seen it where co-defendants were saying that each other were snitching on each other. And when they went to court and met up in the bullpen, one of them cut the other one. Marquise cut the other one. He said he was snitching on him. And these dudes grew up together. These dudes were babies together. And then come to find out that the kid wasn't snitching. So this is why I say, rumors can get you killed, and especially saying somebody's a snitch. You got to be careful with your words. You got to be careful what you do. And on that note, people, you already know the motto. Experience is the greatest teacher. But somebody else's experience could be just as valuable if you pay attention and listen. And on that note, Fred White, signing off.